unfortunately, we had a shooting on the Lake Metro Parks pathway here. It's a bike trail and called the Greenway. We have a female who was shot. I reported to the media earlier in the left arm, had 2 children with her. Well, unfortunately, we have additional information. We have an apparent homicide on Ravenna Road at a private residence near Auburn. I'm not going to release an address right at this minute. We have a female victim, deceased, and the detectives and crime scene investigators are handling the physical evidence. A careful perimeter was set around this entire area, which you have all witnessed now. And one of our SWAT teams engaged a Latino, Hispanic male, approximately 30 years old, in a woodline area, I will say, and I don't have absolutely everything, within about a quarter mile of the residence in a wooded area. He leveled a weapon at the SWAT team members, and they did get him to surrender. There has been no one shot or injured. He is in custody at this time. Part of the assistance came from the aircraft, and here's the twist. There is a possibility, the aircraft said he thought he saw 2 people running in the woodline. So now we want to be extra cautious that we don't have a second person. The only information I have at this distance from this is that the person in custody said he's been alone. So we have some conflicting information here. We're going to make sure that the area remains well patrolled by extra, and I'll let the chief speak for himself, with extra Painesville City Police, with extra Sheriff's Department personnel, and extra park people to be in our allotments, areas where people have been notified. We had reverse 911 earlier. This has been a very fast-moving afternoon, and we're trying to keep you folks abreast of what's going on. Chief?
A couple of points I'd like to make is that the location of the homicide in relation to the location where the lady was shot on the Greenway Trail, which is the Metro Parks, was about 300 yards difference. And to reiterate, the homicide investigation is not on park property. That happened off of park property. Our property was not involved in that particular incident. However, we're working in conjunction with the Sheriff's Office, with Chief Powali, and of course, a lot of different agencies that are here. But we will keep the Metro Parks closed, this Greenway area, as well as Wyman Park, until we're confident that it's safe for our public to use. So at this point, that's really all we have, and the investigation will continue.
So is the house Concord Township, or is the house the private residence?
The house is in Concord Township.
And these are linked?
Excuse me?
The homicide and the shooting,
well,
and the man in custody?
It appears, you don't want to be too loose with this, but it would appear that the subject who was involved with the homicide may have been spotted, and this woman saw him well, so I am not going to say exactly, but it makes sense that we have somebody fleeing the scene of a homicide, a woman shot within 1,000 yards, a couple hundred yards of that crime scene. So it seems like we're going to be working to tie up the loose ends on that information.
You won't say it's connected yet.
There's a lot of work to be done. This is very, very early in this investigation. There's a lot of questions that we need to have answered. But the most important thing in this part is we feel that the safety of the public at this point is not in jeopardy. We're doing our best to ensure that. That's what we're trying to do right now, and try to piece this all together with the different departments working together.
Still advising people to stay indoors tonight and keep until you figure out the second situation? There is a second person.
I think what they should do is, yes, they want to be extra cautious about being observant, locking everything up, making sure they're secure this evening. We don't want to have people overreact. No other homes seem to have been entered at this point. But also, for the time being, we don't want anybody to pick up any hitchhikers or anybody looking for a ride. Or if they have given a ride earlier in the day to anybody, we want to know about it.
So just to be clear, you have one suspect in custody. Nobody was wounded. The house where is about 300 yards from the woman who was shot in the arm. Just reiterate.
That's correct.
Just kind of sum it up for us again, please.
We have a homicide of a white female at a private residence on Ravenna Road. Earlier in the afternoon, before we discovered the homicide, we had a female with her 2 children on the bike path, Greenway, who was shot in the left arm. We are attempting to see if those 2 incidents are as closely linked as it appears at this point.
Homicide suspect and victim know each other?
Excuse me?
Do they know each other? The suspect or the victim? Is this random?
I do not know that at this point. Excuse me?
With the arm? Suspect?
The suspect leveled a gun on our SWAT team and they got him to surrender.